And we are live. Hello, everyone. My name is Yuri. I go by Russian Prototype. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We have both platforms active, YouTube as well as Facebook. Super excited to connect with everyone today and just share a few things about myself as a content creator. And so I want to welcome you to this very first live stream, hopefully not the last one. And a few things to mention here. I don't have a microphone, so you might hear a little echo. So just bear with me on that. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Secondly, I do not see who is currently on the stream unless you comment. So please say hi so I know who is watching so we can connect directly, so to speak. And so for today, as I mentioned, I want to talk about the beginning of my content creator's journey and as well as do some Q&A session with you. Don't forget to say hi, and let's talk about it. Let's jump right in. And my first YouTube channel, I actually started it in February of 2020, last year. And my bulk of my career, professional career, was actually in recreation and in fitness. So I worked as a manager, I worked as a trainer, I worked as an instructor. And it's been like 6.5 years of professional career. I still have my certification, so I still can teach group fitness classes. I still can be a personal trainer. And so when I left my job in February of 2020, I wanted to do something to give back. You know, I wanted to create a YouTube channel and share my knowledge with people about fitness, because fitness has been part of my life for so long. And that's what I did. So the goal of the first challenge of the first, that's going to be a lot of bloopers today, bloopers live actually, here we go. The goal of the first channel was to really share my knowledge with the world. And you know, what I realized when I created that channel is that I was excited to create videos. It's kind of funny because videos been in my life for a while. I remember like making videos, not me making videos, but actually people making videos of us as kids back in Russia with big bulky cameras. I remember back when VHSs still were around, when you put a cassette inside the player and you were watching movies that way. So back then, you know, I guess I was maybe 10 years old, 11 years old. This was my kind of a first experience with making videos, you know. So very, very cool memories. But so the first channel that I created was really focused on fitness. That was really the sole purpose of it. And you know, funny enough, initially it was all about making instructional videos, and instructional videos that were very structured. You know, I wanted to make them perfect. I wanted these videos to be done a certain way, in certain structure, with certain goal, and they had to be executed up to my standards, you know. And so it was very great experience in the beginning, because it allowed me to kind of become my own director of these fitness videos. And I was trying to incorporate humor, I was trying to incorporate, of course, knowledge. I was trying to you know, kind of like piece it all together with all these different aspects to make something nice, even though I did not have former experience, you know. And what I realized, you know, I realized that I was excited to create videos. I loved it so much. I enjoyed the process, and that kind of took me to that mental space that really the takeaway for me was finding something that you love is so important. So one thing that I also realized throughout this process, that I am a perfectionist. I was seeking perfection in my videos, and I cannot even tell you how many takes I took. Sometimes I would take oh my God, 50, 60 takes of a single video. And to be frank with you, it would become very tiring. It would become, you know, I would become frustrated because, you know, I was doing all those takes and I was putting all that work, but I felt like nothing was happening. You know, I felt like sometimes I just kept on one spot, you know, couldn't move forward with these videos. And so the seeking perfection was real. And I realized something over time. The takeaway number 2, progress is more important than perfection. Therefore, you know, when I saw this at the store a couple of weeks ago, I had to grab this little sign. No matter what it was, you know, now I know that it's not going to be perfect. And I just had to put it out. I had to push the final product out, even though maybe sometimes I was not 100% satisfied with the final product. That was a big, big lesson for me. Let's see who we got in the live stream really quickly. Looks like, so we have Princess in the house. Hello. We have Andrea in the house. Hello. We have Lindsey. Hello. We have Linda. We have Fabiola. Hello. We have Violet. Hello. Leticia. Hello. And Piazza. Hello. Obed. Hello. Thank you so much all for joining. That's awesome. Awesome to have you all. Thank you. So next thing that I wanted to talk about is becoming a Russian prototype. Taking this transition and moving from my fitness channel to my current channel that most of you found me at. And it sounds kind of funny, actually, becoming a Russian prototype, like some sort of funny project, right? Well, I am Russian, so part of it is already here. Prototype. You know, when I created the name for this channel, it was just like kind of throw something on the wall and see what sticks. Like, I didn't think much of it. I didn't necessarily have a good rationale why that name was initially created. But, you know, with time, it kind of start making more sense for me. Because what is prototype? Prototype is a new product that hasn't been released to public yet. And testing is being done with prototype, right? So, okay, I'm not a finished product. That's so true, you know? So that made sense. And then, you know, another thing too with word prototype is you can continue to improve it, you know? So it's not only the fact that it's not finished product, it's the fact that you can continue add to it more and more and more to build it. And so at first, even though it was kind of a random thing to do, now that nickname, I can rationalize it and it makes a lot more sense. So now I'm happy with it. So what I did, I created the channel and I just figured, you know what? I do a different type of video. It's not going to be an instructional video to start with. It's just going to be video of me talking in front of camera. And I'm going to talk about my experience as a Russian man, tell people where I'm from, tell people how I feel, and all of this. And the first video that I created was what Russian men look for in their partner. And little did I know, people were actually interested in that particular topic. People were interested, apparently, in understanding the Russian mindset. People were interested in how Russian men think about relationships. And that was super unexpected to me. I did not think that I was going to receive so many comments. I did not think that there was going to be so many views. This video to this day is the most popular video on my channel. This video has over 11,000 views right now. I'm not bragging. Maybe I am a little bit. I'm just saying, you know, 11,000 views, it's, for me, it was something like unimaginary. I never thought that you know, so many people were going to look at the video. And so numbers don't lie, because even though I was experimenting with videos, I was making videos about Russian food, about Russian language, about Russian culture, four out of top 5 performing videos on YouTube channel, my YouTube channel, of course, were about relationships and dating. So let me repeat it again. Maybe I didn't make myself clear. So the 4 out of 5 top videos on my YouTube channel were about relationships and dating. And that's something that I could not ignore. You know, that is, numbers don't lie. Numbers will tell the truth. And I had to get in a different mindset. I had to get in a mindset, okay, well, people are clearly interested in this topic. People clearly interested in this subject. So then maybe I should give people what they want. And this was my takeaway number 3 in my content creator journey so far, is that it's all about people. It's not really about me. It's about what people interested in learning. It's about connecting with people. It's about putting yourself out there and, you know, learning with people as well. It's not like I'm a relationship expert. I'm largely talking about my experiences as a man, as a Russian man on this channel. You know, I never wrote a book. I don't have $1 million business. So I'm a regular guy, you know. So the fact that there is still some interest and there is still interaction, two-way street that was happening, it was very encouraging sight to see for me, very encouraging. Truth be told, I was still chasing numbers. I wanted to quick results. I wanted to, you know, in the beginning, I wanted to get rich fast, get not really famous, but I wanted to get something in return, you know. And I had to reshift, rethink my strategy, rethink my mindset. And the moment of truth for me became that I had to ask myself a question: would I still do this? Would I still create content and create videos regardless of the outcome? And the answer is yes, absolutely. No matter what happens, in the end, I love creating videos. I love connecting with everyone because that connection is something very, very special. I cherish it very, very much. And this was liberating. This was liberating realization that no matter what it is, I still want to be a content creator and I still want to do this. And I mentioned connections created. Obviously, these are like very priceless for me because many of you shared your personal stories with me. Many of you, you know, told me things from your past that are very, very personal. Many of you kind of provided me with some insight that made me think about things in a different way. And so I'm very appreciative of that. This is the most valuable thing I believe that can happen because of content creation, you know. Then of course there is personal growth. I think that you can clearly see that I'm, you know, not a finished, I'm a prototype. I'm not a finished product. And I don't know if I ever will be, you know. So I had to realize that there are so many steps that I need to take just to be better. As a content creator, I mean, communication is a big part of it. Being in front of the camera and being comfortable in talking with people is not an easy thing to do. And I'm still working at it. But I look back at how many things, how many good things happened during the last, you know, 7 months since especially I had my second channel. And it's mind-blowing to me because I can confidently say that I now have skills to edit videos, to the entire production process, you know, to do script for a video, to come up with ideas. And by the way, that's another thing, ideas, that's another amazing part of being a content creator. You get random ideas pop into your head at random times. Sometimes I'm driving, you know, somewhere and an idea pops for a video and I'm like, oh yes, that's good. Sometimes you go to sleep and you're ready to, you know, actually fall asleep and then something pump into your head. You're like, okay, I got to write it down. I got to write that idea down. because sometimes your brain tells you, okay, this is going to be a good one. And so all these things are like ideas, especially in creativity, that it sparks into your head. This is such a big perk of being a content creator too. But in general, so many skills as a result of it I acquired, and that's something that could be applicable to future. Not could be, I know that will be, and I know that's going to really help me as a professional in the future, which is future possibilities. That's going to be somewhat a surprise, whether it's going to be a business venture, whether it's going to be a job, whether it's going to be some sort of collaboration. But I want to create content for a living. Here I said it on live stream. It's forever going to be on internet. I love it so much. I want to do this as my career. And this is just an incredible journey that I am currently in order to achieve this goal. So with that, I don't want to talk anymore. I've spoken enough. I want to be able to jump into some Q&A. So let's see what kind of questions we have. Let's see. I can actually bring your question on the screen and see if I can answer any of them. Let's see. Looks like Splendid gives me chills seeing you live. Thank you very much. What is your preferred weather? Snow or cold, sunny, beach day, rainy storms? So I grew up in Russia, and in Russia, funny enough, many people have misconception about Russian weather. Naturally, I think people think Russia is a very cold place. And I'm from Volgograd, Russia. It's a southern region of Russia. And so we have a very nice change of seasons. We have 4 seasons. We have actual winter when it's cold. We have spring when everything is blooming and you have different smells in the air, just beautiful. We have summer when it's actually really hot, could be between 90 to 100 degrees Fahrenheit, or between 25 and 30 or even higher degrees Celsius. Fall where it changes colors, and then winter when it's actually really, really cold. So for me, I miss that. I miss that change because now I live in Florida, and while I love Florida, there's certainly, there's not a whole lot of like different weather going on. It's either warm, a little cool, or hot, so your choices are kind of limited. I'm not complaining. I love warm weather, but I do miss a little bit of change in terms of weather. But mostly, I prefer warm. If I had to pick one, I prefer warm weather where you can go to the beach, where you can do some things outside, and where you can just enjoy some activities, outdoors. So that would be me. Thank you for your question. We also have, who else we have? Francis in the house. We have Braina in the house. We have Mike in the house. Some amazing people. Kaylee in the house. Awesome. Thank you all for being here. Let's see. Yes. I thought it was a question. Sorry. I'm trying to see if there is any questions that you have that I can answer right now. Yes, Linda, for sure you will be able to rewatch this. This is going to be on my YouTube channel. It's going to be under live streams, I believe. So you will be able to come in and watch it at any time. So looks like Violet has a question. What type of music do you like to listen to? So as far as music, this is, I feel like, one part of my life that I haven't shared a whole lot on my YouTube channel. Growing up in Russia, I'm just going to give you a little bit of a backstory, a little bit as well. So growing up in Russia, there was a lot of pop. There was a lot of dance music, like even trance and house, that type of music. There was a lot of like when people play guitar and sing live, I wouldn't want to call it pop. So guitar is a musical instrument, and singing to guitar was very popular. There was also, I'm trying to think the other styles. Rock was also popular in Russia for sure. So there are a few styles, and so I grew up listening to all of that music. Now, in 2018, I had experience. So I like, I'm jumping back and forth. So in 2018, I had experience that kind of changed my life a little bit, or at least alter my music preference. I went to Ultra Music Festival, which is the electronic dance music festival in Miami. And when I went there, you know, I just went because I wanted to experience music with my friends. Really, I want to hang out with my friends and enjoy and have fun. But it did something to me because my hobby actually became DJing. Yes, I'm a DJ too, part-time. I haven't been DJing for a while, but I love it so much. So that music festival, when I went there, it was such an incredible energy level. It was, and mind you, before that, you know, I would go to nightclubs, I would go to bars, I would go to lounges. Like that was my way of consuming music when I was out, you know. And after this festival, something clicked because I've never experienced, you know, so many people in one place, being there for the music, soaking in the energy of the music, you know, dancing, laughing, enjoying. And it's like thousands of people in real time, and you can feel it. You can literally feel this energy. And so from that point on, I actually got a controller, a DJ controller, and I taught myself how to DJ with help of YouTube and, you know, a bunch of other things. And I must say that I love many different types of music. There's not a one particular type of music that I love, but I do come back to electronic dance music as something that near and dear to my heart. And here's the thing about electronic music too. Many people think of electronic music as techno or trance, and they think of it like boom, 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 boom. That's it. There are just so many different types of electronic music. You know, you can listen to a tropical house that would be very relaxing. You can listen to trance that would be very uplifting with like very, very like beautiful melodic sounds. You can listen to techno that would be like very leveled, you know, very similar sound throughout. So there are so many different flavors. There are so many different possibilities with electronic dance music. And I love it. I do love R&B. I do love pop. I do love rock. I do love hip hop. I love reggae. I love 80s. Oh my God, I love 80s. 80s, every time I listen to 80s, it's like I want to leave. I want to dance. You know, I don't want to bash the music off today, but 80s just, oh my God, you know, it's so uplifting. It's so fresh. It's so like, you feel the energy. 80s are 70s and 80s, really. So that's it on music. Thank you so much for your question, Violet. Let's see what we got. Hi, Summer. How are you? Thanks for joining. Do you know any other languages, or do you want to learn more? I want to learn more. I speak Russian and English. I'm not fluent in any other languages right now, but I would love to learn Spanish and Portuguese. Let's actually start with one. And I'm going back and forth between Spanish and Portuguese. I feel like Spanish is probably the third or fourth most spoken language in the world, because I don't know the exact numbers. It's like up there, right? But and so that would be for that purpose. If you know Spanish, I feel like you can travel to a lot of countries in the world and communicate with people. So that's great. But there is something awesome about Portuguese. It's like the sound of Portuguese, you know? When you listen to people to speak Portuguese, it's like this, they have this endings like psh, like pushkamash, mushkamash, like it's like super like nice to your ear, you know, the sound. And so I really like Portuguese. So I'm going back and forth, Spanish or Portuguese. I don't think I can do Chinese right now. You have to have at least alphabet. If you don't have alphabet, if there is no letter, oh my God, I think my brain will go crazy, you know? So that's that. Andrea, have you had a chance to talk to friends about what Russian men really think about American women? Great question. I have not necessarily talked to friends about this particular topic, but I think there is a lot of misconception as well. You know, I think that many Russian people probably don't know what to think about American women, because the only point of reference they have is from Hollywood. And I don't know about you, I don't read into much into Hollywood. I think that Hollywood movies, great, don't get me wrong, like it's amazing entertainment, but they're not necessarily accurate when it comes to cultures and define cultures. I mean, if you look at how they portray Russian people in Hollywood, you know, like what movie was it? That was The End of the World, when they were the Bruce Willis movie, when The End of the World, when they were saving the world from a meteor, and they went to the space station, when the Russian guy was wearing this hat, winter hat, and drinking vodka or something. So I think, you know, I think because of how it portrayed sometimes, it's difficult for people to know what's truth and what's not. So I think Russian people would have kind of a skewed perception, I would think, about American women, but I certainly would be open to have this discussion with them. Another thing too, I mean, like, I think that American woman would be very difficult to define. Like, I couldn't define it. I think I can talk about certain traits in people, but, you know, I could not give them one, you know, image with set values, with things that's going to definitely be in that individual, because American culture is just so broad, you know, it's so open, and I feel like it's a combination of cultures. It's a melting pot. Because of it, it would be difficult to define. Thank you for your question. Let's see. Linda, I would like to know what first-generation Russian women are like in their relationship. So I'm assuming here that first-generation Russian women, well, I guess it could be, there could be Russian women here, or it would be, right? If you're saying first generation, you would be talking about immigrants. You know, I think it also depends on how long that particular person have been in a different country, and when they move to these countries. Remember that video about the graph that I did? I think all those things matter, because people change. I mean, I don't think you can really, I don't think you can ignore other culture. I think it's going to impact you in certain ways. And I think because of that, you're no longer going to be the same exact person. And I think a lot of it will depend on the culture. Like, if you live in Ireland, you know, you would be different from someone who lives in India. And I think these experiences will really, really dictate, or at least impact you in your relationship. That's my take on it. Let's see, do you have any samples to post? You know, I do have some recording. I have some sets actually that I recorded, and the problem with that, I can actually send you some things on SoundCloud. That's an app that you can go to and listen to music. But as far as sharing this music via YouTube or Facebook, it's very heavy control when it comes to copyright. So your channel can actually get in trouble for that. So I'm very cautious about posting any music. Believe me, I want to, because I can incorporate music in my videos. So I think now YouTube slowly acquiring the proper licenses and work with you know, the artists and labels and everything to make it more accessible. But it hasn't happened yet. I think it's still rather a slow process, and therefore I'm very cautious about samples to post within my videos. But I can certainly share some things with you through the other apps, so send you a link and you can listen to as well that way. Let's see what we got. I think, oh, here we go. Let's see. Darlene, hello, thank you for joining. Russia is a huge country. There are different accents in the language there. Can you make a video about it? Yes, Russia is a very big country, and there are different accents depending on the region of the country that you're in. There are former countries like Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Armenia. So all these different countries will have different type of accents and things like that. I think that's something maybe I can incorporate in my videos somehow. So just have to think how I can make that, you know, either relevant to context of relationships and dating, or perhaps just make a separate video about it. Absolutely. Thank you so much for your suggestion. Let's see what else we have. 80s, that's right. Letitia, hello. Do you know Molchat Doma? No, I don't know Molchat Doma, but I'm curious what it is. Tell me more about it, or maybe I can just go and look it up after the stream and see what they're about. I'm curious what kind of music they are doing. Let's see, Linda, looks like you have another question. What makes me wonder why Russian language looks down its nose on Ukrainian language? What makes you think that, I wonder, you know? Is it something that you've heard from many people, or is it just something you heard through a grapevine? I personally don't. Again, you know, I can speak for myself only, but I think diversity is important, you know. I think there are a lot of these Eastern European and Slavic languages that will be similar, but they will have their differences as well. So I can make up what Ukrainians are saying somewhat. So in certain instances, right? So maybe 25%, maybe like certain words, but I cannot fully understand it. But I don't, you know, I think every language is special to people of that country. So I certainly have appreciation for diversity as a whole. Lindsey, hello. Thank you for your question. Have you ever listened to Lindsey Stirling? She combines violin with dubstep. Wow. No, I have not. This is super interesting. You know, I actually love when artists incorporate musical instruments into their sets. It creates really amazing tracks or songs. And so I would be very curious to hear that, because dubstep is a kind of a very hard style of music, you know, it's not for everyone. So, but also dubstep is known, you know, it's funny because it's kind of opposite, if you will, opposite of the spectrum. But many of dubstep artists actually incorporate some of the instruments in their tracks as well. So like when you're at festivals and when you listen to dubstep, you can hear a lot of musical instruments even in dubstep music. So I guess I'm not surprised there, but yeah, interesting. I want to check it out. Thank you for the suggestion. Let's see. Do we have anything else? Any other questions? Looks like we have a question from Fabiola. Hello, thank you for being here and thank you for your suggestion. As regards weather, how is the best way to save your car from the Russian ice? For example, do I have to cover everything at night in order to avoid to find everything completely frozen the next day? Fabiola, I think like the best thing to do is to put it in a garage. If you have a garage, it's the best thing to do. I also think it depends on the weather. Like some weather that is -20, -30, I don't know what much you can do. I think that that's going to affect your car regardless, because it's just so cold, you know. And I've seen some videos on YouTube from Russia where like cars end up entirely underneath the snow. And I think if you have, unless you have a shelter like garage, I don't know how you can really protect your car from that. I mean, like, your car is going to get affected. So my opinion, either buildings, if you don't have a garage already, building like something extra with the roof will help, because at least the snow will not be the factor. But if it's super cold, you know, you have to put it inside somewhere, because otherwise, you know, I think it's still going to be affected. If we're talking about rain and you're talking about Russian ice, but if you're talking about rain and things, a lot of people here in US using just the covers for their cars, and that does the job. It protects from the heat, you know, it protects from the rain, so that can work too. But I think it just depends how bad the weather gets. If we're talking about Russia. Thank you so much for your question. Let's see. Healy, thank you for being here, and thank you for your question. Do you keep up with Russian politics? For example, Navalny and Putin. Here in Germany, it's a big topic in the media. I do, to an extent. I've been purposely very intentional not to you know, mention any politics in my videos. I feel strongly about it, and you know, strong opinions are not always the best opinions. But funny enough, I have my 3 half brothers live in Germany, and they tell me the same things. They tell me that, like, you know, it's always a highlight of news in Germany about what's going on in Russia and, you know, the political situation there. And truth be told, so for me, it's a very tough situation. For those of you who don't know, Alexei Navalny is a political prisoner who is currently serving his time in Russian prison. And everybody knows why. Everybody knows who put him there. And there, he has, what's the right word for it? It's not a company. It's, I guess you can call it a movement. Alexei Navalny, he's the opposition of Putin. So he has a movement, and his movement is, you know, for being able to provide choice for Russia, choice to select different president, choice for democracy. And so on paper, everything looks great, you know, what he's saying. And I think because of that, because he's opposition, you know, he ran into just a lot of trouble. I don't want to get into this whole conversation about him. You can Google him, Alexei Navalny, and see everything that he had to endure because of his political, not only his political views, but his actions, because he rallied people behind him. He is very vocal and very open about his intentions. And it is very unfortunate, let me put it that way, it's very unfortunate what's going on right now in Russia, politically speaking. Alexei Navalny made many YouTube videos, a very high quality YouTube videos about corruption, where he points out people, specific people, their assets, what they stole, who they stole it from, how they did it. He breaks it down. I mean, like, it's detailed. It's detailed to the point where you can no longer keep your eyes closed. It's that obvious. And because of that, it really exposes the problem. And I don't know what other word to use. It's a big problem. It's the problem of a system that exists right now in Russia. And unfortunately, there is not a system there where democracy decides or free court decides. It's a system where it's one person's word that is the final word. So that's that. Thank you so much for your question. I appreciate it. Let's see who else we got. Francis, what do you think about the conflict starting with Russia and Ukraine? I think that I don't want to qualify it, you know, because I also feel like I don't necessarily have like very great knowledge on the entire situation. There's a lot of history that goes in these conflicts between Russia and Ukraine. What I do know is that there are a lot of people affected by it. And I mean, many people lost their lives because of these conflicts. And that's what's really important to me. I know I'm not a politician. I know I don't fully understand what it takes, but I don't know if maybe that's the reason I couldn't be a politician. I just don't know if you can sacrifice lives, and not in a sense that simply people going to die, but in the sense that there are many lives are going to be broken for the rest of their lives, you know? And to me, I just can't justify it, you know? So to me, the conflicts between Russia and Ukraine, whether they're political conflicts or whether they, you know, one side can really gain something from it, once I see how it affects people, it's really hard for me to justify it. So that's my take on it. Thank you so much for the question, Francis. Let's see what else we have. We have so many people in here. Appreciate you all. Thank you so much for joining me live. Summer, what do you miss the most about living in Russia? Wonderful question. I miss my friends the most. I miss the feeling of excitement when school was out and was the entire summer was in front of us, and we would just spend days on end together, hanging out, enjoying each other's company. I miss the smell in the air. I miss the bonfires. I miss the singing. I miss tomatoes, for God's sakes. US has really bad tomatoes. Do you know this? I don't complain about it a whole lot in my videos, but tomatoes here, bread is like, okay, you can find, but man, these tomatoes, it's a pain. Anyway, I didn't move to US because of tomatoes, I suppose. But I miss those things. I miss those things. I miss my getaway place outside of my city where I would go for summer vacations. And where I would swim in the river, I would swim in the lake there, where I would just walk the dirty roads there. I miss my city. I miss my historic city, you know, the World War II famous Stalingrad, known as Stalingrad, city that changed the course of World War II. I miss the streets. I miss the alleys. I miss the central square by the river. I miss all those things. I don't necessarily miss, you know, how some people treated you. But I also don't want to make it sound like people are just bad. There are awesome people in Russia. There are many people who are going through hardships in Russia. So there is a little bit of everything, but I can see how people would perceive Russia as country of extremes. Here's one thing that I was thinking about lately too. You know what's unfortunate? Like, I know, you know, a few minutes ago, you know, you ask politically related questions. It's unfortunate that a few people really represent this the biggest country in the world is represented by few people. And whether you like it or not, you are being associated with these individuals. So if the president wakes up today and decides to start the war with someone else, this is a big, ugly mark on Russia. And when people talk about Russia, you are associated with this. And you did not choose to be associated with this action, but because you were born in this country, you are associated, whether you like it or not. And that's bothering me. I can't even find another word. That's bothering me. It's bothering me that I have to bear responsibility for somebody else's decisions when I don't agree with them. And that's life. Of course, that's life. I'm not sitting here and say that, you know, in life everything is butterflies and unicorn. No, but I think there are some decisions being made at that level that affect people in a very harmful way, and many of us did not sign up for it. That's one thing I don't miss, Summer. So sorry going on a tangent there. Thank you so much for your question. I hope I answered it. Let's see what else we got. Let's see. Bryna, what is your favorite cake? The food questions. I love it. So what is my favorite cake? My favorite cake is Napoleon. If you have not had a freshly made Napoleon, you should definitely try it. Napoleon is a combination of crunchy crust with delicious cream that has like a condensed milk in it. Man, I'm about to go on a tangent. American. Talked about American tomatoes. American cakes are not much better, okay? I have to go out of my way to find good cakes in America. I don't have to go out of my way to find good cakes in Russia. Some of you are like, well, go back to Russia and eat your cakes over there. No, thanks. I'll stay in America and I will just cook my Russian cakes here, okay? The thing about cakes, I don't even know if I should go into it. Oh, what the heck. The thing about cakes, I think, is just plain. Many cakes in America are plain. It's just you have the bread and you have the icing, and it's super sweet, right? And yes, there are some people that make cakes, they specialize in it, which is great. So you can find good cakes in America, don't get me wrong. But I think the difference, though, in Europe, there are many specialized stores. There are bakeries. So you come into the bakeries, and it's not just the cakes. Maybe like we had a place right across from my apartment in Russia where you can go and buy piroshki, you know, that fried dough with meat or whatever filling. You can buy belyashi, you know, just like belyashi actually is fried dough. Piroshki could be baked or fried. You can buy chebureki, which is like actually, you know, ethnic food from a different region of former Soviet Union. So you can buy that, and in addition to that, cakes as well. So that place was specializing on the baked and fried goods. And that place were making, that's all they were doing, right? So they were making good cakes. People knew what they were getting into when they come here. Here, like most places, you have your bakeries here, but I think a lot of people, unless you culturally used to that type of food, like if you from, I don't know, Hispanics do that a lot. For example, Hispanics love their bakeries. Europeans do that a lot. We love our bakeries. So if you're not, unless you culturally like been in that space and you looking for that type of food, I think a lot of people in America, they just go to the supermarket, right? And grocery store, and they just get whatever grocery store has. And the grocery store doesn't have necessarily the best choices. That's my take on it. There are many great Russian cakes. You should try Napoleon. You should try the honey cake. honey cake is also amazing. I love the honey cake. My mom's favorite cake called Kiev cake. Kiev cake, it's like a combination. I don't even know how to explain it. Look up the Kiev cake and look up the ingredients there, because it's definitely cream there, and it's a different type of dough, the way they make it, because it's also a little bit crunchy. But they have the cream. They have, what do you call that? I can think of the Russian word. I can think of like English word. They decorate things on top of the cake with cream. On top of the Kiev cake. Kiev, it's the actual capital of Ukraine, so it's called Kiev cake. This is actually dedicated to the capital of Ukraine. I think it was actually made there, and because of that, it inherited its name. So you can look up Kiev cake. It's Kiev, and you can see the ingredients. And this is my mom's favorite cake, so that's another one you can try as well. Thank you for your question, Brian. Let's see. Do we have any other questions that I can address? Oh, Linda, what is your gateway place you mentioned? I wonder if I can show it to you on the map. I don't even think that they will come up. The name of the place is Tumak. It's Tumak. You're not going to be able to find it on the map, because it's like, I don't even know. It's like a village almost, but that's not the actual place. This is where you would take like a ferry on the river to get to, and then you have to walk another hour, or you could drive, but we walked a lot back then. And you get to this, it's like a camp that was built by, how do you say it in English? Polytech University, a university that does technology stuff. So this was a camp. Camp also that isn't the right word. It's like the place that you would go in the summer. What would be the English word for it? So anyway, there is a place that built by this university, and where students and instructors would go in the summer to just relax for vacations. And so the place is Tumak, but then you have to get there for another hour or so, and it's just a beautiful place in the nature, and you have access to both to river and to lake, and you can do all kinds of stuff there. So thank you so much for your question, Linda. Let's see if we have, what else we have. This is so cool. My first time doing this, and I can see your questions on the, oh, you guys have in the chat. I love it. I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Princess, do you keep up with Russian international politics? The short answer is no, not that much, unless it concerns or impacts, you know, either my friends or I. Like, I hear the news sometimes about new laws, or like, for example, if number of American visas would be reduced to Russian citizens. Like, I'm interested in that. I don't necessarily seek that information, I would say, but I end up hearing about that information because I still on Twitter, I still on the internet. So sometimes you just see those things because of groups that I follow on Facebook, because of things, you know, people and accounts that I follow on Twitter. I end up seeing this news anyway. Partially is because a lot of it is not super positive. You know, a lot of it seems to have this negative undertone to it. And therefore, I'm kind of gotten to a place where I don't know if I'm interested in seeking this out and knowing unless I have to, you know. Maybe a little bit ignorant of me, but I also talk to my friends in Russia. And my friends in Russia tell me a lot of things because they hear it firsthand from the source. And so when I talk to my friends in Russia, I feel like they keep me up on the news as well. So even though I don't directly keep up with it, I end up hearing about it and knowing about it. let's see. I love the conversation in here. You guys are amazing. Thank you for sharing this. Another question from Linda. Florida has lots of Russian food stores. Right. Yes, correct. And in Orlando alone, we have at least 3, which is pretty good. And if you go down to Miami, you will have a big Russian community in Sunny Isles is the name of the area. And they have really cool restaurants. They have mini stores there. And you actually feel somewhat like you're back in Russia because, you know, customer service is shitty. People don't really, you know, keep an eye contact with you. People don't smile. So like when I miss Russia, I can always go to Sunny Isles in Miami. Bam! I love you, Russian people. I'm not a hater. I'm just speaking the truth. The truth cannot be hidden. If it is truth, it's truth. What you gonna do? No, you know, it's great. It's great. I'm not judging people. You know, I'm not judging people. The community there. So another interesting thing about, you know, communities is that many Russian people come in and they live in this community and they're never exposed to other way of thinking, other way of life. And I'm sure that I spoke about it in my videos at least once or twice. But when you're not exposed to other way of thinking, or you're not open to other possibilities, I mean, you're going to act the same. You're going to act the way you acted in Russia. And so, you know, it's a fascinating subject. It really is, because, you know, like for me, America changed me. Again, I'm going on a tangent here, but America definitely changed me. Like I feel like I'm more open-minded because of America. Because I feel like also in America, if you want to get somewhere, you have to be open-minded. But I enjoy it. It's not just because you have to. I enjoy being like curious. You know, curiosity is a powerful tool. And if you're not curious, if you're not open, I think you're going to miss out on a lot of things. My opinion. Thank you for the question. Let's see what else we have. I'm going to feature princesses coming here. I made Russian honey cakes. I think it's called medavik. You are correct. It's called medavik. That's awesome. Not how did you make it, but what did you think? Did you like it? What would you give it from 1 to 10 if you had to rate it? Let's see. Lindsey said, I didn't have really good cake until I moved to the South. You know what? Here, I'll give you that. I've been hating on American cakes, but pecan pie is amazing. Let me repeat it. Pecan pie is one of the top American desserts for me. And, you know, we can count it as cake. It makes up for a lot of misfortunes by American cakes. Pecan pie, I'm sure most of you had it, but for those of you who did not, it has a crust on the bottom. It has this caramel goodness, gooey goodness in the middle, and it has glazed pecans on top of it. And you know what? I like all 3. And because of that, when I eat pecan pie, I feel good. Pecan pie, as far as, that's another reason I like Thanksgiving, because, you know, pecan pies are in abundance during this time. A lot of people like pumpkin pie. My stepdad loves pumpkin pie. There is like cherry pie. It's okay. There are many. I'll be honest, I haven't tried all of it. I've seen some things in the store that I haven't tried. Like, so maybe I need to. But pecan pie is the real deal. It really is. So I can relate there. Let's see. Let's see. Artist 92, are you coffee or tea drinker or both? I am a tea drinker. I have never developed a taste for coffee in my life. My mom drinks a lot of coffee, and I've been around coffee, but I honestly never enjoy the taste. And because of that, I never drink coffee. Tea, however, is a different story. So tea is sort of like a way to pass time in Russia, you know? So you get together with people, just like some people drink beer, whether anywhere, any country, right? Tea is like you get together in a different setting, and you may drink it with some pastries or some dessert or some dried bread, sukhariki, Russian dry bread. It's another popular item to drink with, and it has a little sweetness to it too. I think like it could be made with a little bit of sugar, you know. And so, and the sky's the limit. Like, it's the cool thing is that you can serve it with whatever you want. So if you want lemon, if you want some honey with it, if you want sugar separately, people serve it with many different things. But it's a way to pass time. I remember when I was in Russia, I used to go to my neighbors, and we used to drink tea and just chat it, you know. And I was like, back then I was like 15, and I was like, what is this teenager doing drinking tea? No, it's just a cool way to hang out, cool way to spend time, you know. So yeah, I'm a fan of tea. However, I haven't really been drinking it here on my own. So if any of you want to have tea, we can do that. If you ever come to Florida, we can have tea together for sure. That's not a problem. Thank you for your question. Let's see. Princess Yuri, what's cheeki breeki? Cheeki breeki. Oh my God, what is it? It's like a saying, cheeki breeki, but I don't know if that has a meaning. Now you got me thinking. It's like people would say that in Russia, cheeki breeki. But I don't remember what it's for, to be honest with you. Like, I don't know why people say that. It's kind of a weird thing. I don't know if it has meaning, but people do say it in Russia. Yuri, do you consume some energy drinks? Thank you for your question, Agata. And thank you everyone for being here. Still a bunch of you here live. I appreciate that so much. I do consume energy drinks. Yesterday, I actually had 2 bottles of Gatorade, but because it was so hot, and you know, I'm spending a lot of time due to my job outdoors, and because of that, it just gets so hot. The energy drinks really help to keep you hydrated, because it's not just about water, it's also about like potassium, it's about salt, it's about different micronutrients that your body needs when it starts losing sweat or water, I guess. But you need to replenish it with other things. And so because of that, I drink it. I do not necessarily drink it like in comfort of my own home. I drink it when it's hot. But I do drink kombucha. If any of you are familiar with kombucha, this is pretty cool, because kombucha is similar to some of the Russian homemade stuff that I used to taste as a kid. So it reminds me the taste. I like the sour taste, and that's why actually some of the beers that I drink when I do go to a bar or breweries, I always seek like a sour taste beers, because I prefer the flavor. Orange, for instance, like I like blood oranges. I like oranges too, but blood oranges cool because it has sweet and sour taste in one. And I really enjoy that. So that's the reason I like kombucha as well. Thank you for your question. Letitia, Man, you're trying to Google brigadeiro. It's Brazilian. I never had brigadeiro. I don't believe, but it sounds delicious. Um, let's see. Let's see. Do we have any other questions? Your mother. I think you are also communicating with each other. Another question from Agata. Do you like hamburger? Hamburger is the Russian for hamburger. Hamburger, hamburger. I used to being crazy about hamburgers. You know how much McDonald's I consumed when I first moved to America? Oh my God, a lot of McDonald's. It probably was not good for my health. But now I like it less. I prefer some home cooked meatballs now. I much rather do that than buy hamburger. Part of the reason too is because like when you buy it somewhere, I don't really trust fast food places. Let's call it as it is. I've seen some terrifying videos where people are dropping buns or meats on the floor, or they spit on their food, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to take that chance. I'll have a hamburger if I go to a nice restaurant. I think there is a less chance of that happening. But fast food, not so much. Also, I know I can make it at home more economically. I can make it at home knowing what goes inside the patty, the meat patty. And I've been getting this turkey ground meat, and I've been cooking it myself. And it's already has seasoning in it, and it tastes super good. And so I do like the meat. I don't eat necessarily a lot of fast food. Thank you for your question. Let's see. Losing track of comments as I scroll, still trying to get used to it. Heather, how did you master English? Any language learning tips? How much did you have to study every day? Thank you for your question. Great question, Heather. I still in the process of mastering it. You hear me speak, it's like my English is far, far from perfect. And so I think it's just a process. But as far as what helped me, I was put in an environment where most people spoke English. So I didn't necessarily have a choice. I had to be in that environment, and I had to learn the language in order for me to communicate. So if you have an opportunity to be in an environment where people speak the language, you will pick it up much faster. Some other tips that you can employ: you can read books, you can listen to the music, and you can watch movies. So when you see it, when you hear it, and when you try to speak it, you kind of engage your senses and you learn from different ways, right? So you don't want to be just reading it. You don't want to be just hearing it. You want to combine all of them. You want to be able to read, you want to be able to see it, you want to be able to hear it. So I think when you combine all of it, it really helps. I did have English in my high school in Russia, so I had kind of a baseline knowledge of English. And I would say that if you can spend whatever time that you can spend reasonably without burning yourself out, then do it. If you can spend effectively 2 hours a day or 3 hours a day studying English, do it. I mean, the more you do something, the better you will get. I would say just find a balance to where your brain able to absorb the information. So I wouldn't necessarily go all day, but find a time frame that works well for you, and then implement that time consistently. Like, consistency is the key. So if it's 2 hours, then do 2 hours every day, and then practice and recalling things that you learn. And experiment. Figure out how you learn the best. You know, some people will write not postcard, like on a card, and they will memorize the word, then they will look up the meaning of the word. So they will flip the card to see the word or to see the meaning on the other side, right? Some people watch TV, some people listen to the radio. So figure out what is the learning, how you learn the best, and do it consistently. Thank you so much for your question. Let's see. Amazing conversation going over there. Thank you so much for engaging, and thank you so much for being here. Now a question from Fabiola: which are the most common names for cats in Russia? I found behemoth everywhere. Any different suggestions? I have more than one cat and I'm trying to make them more Russian. That's great. That's incredible. So you can even call her Kiska. Kiska is like kitty cat in Russian. Kiska, so Kiska. That would be a cool name. You can call her, let's see, like cat's name. It's a very interesting thing. You can call them Russian names like Masha. You know, Masha would be great cat name, I think. Or Tanya. Like, I would like to see a cat named Masha or cat named Tanya. I think it'd be cool. So if you want to make them Russian, what other more Russian way to do it than call them a Russian name? You know, that's what I would do. Thank you so much for your question. Francis, what is your favorite thing about America? Ooh, what a broad question. Thank you so much. My favorite thing about America, freedom. This is my favorite thing about America. You know, you can say a lot of things about this country, but nobody can take away your freedom. Nobody can take away your rights. Well, they could, but, you know, I feel that it would take a lot for that to happen. I feel that you would have to do something wrong. There is a system that established here that protects you as a human being. And when I was younger and when I was moving to United States, you know, I thought about all the monetary, financial things, you know, that you can gain and the quality of life. And I think it's important. I think quality of life is very important. But I think after, you know, seeing what's going on in the world, and being able to kind of approach it from a grown man perspective, I just think that freedom wins. If you don't have that, I think you don't have anything. Thank you so much for your question. Thank you so much. Let's see what else we have. Looks like Letitia is asking, do you live in Florida? You must like the weather, right? I do like the weather. I do like the warm weather. It does get, see, English gets in the way. It does get uncomfortably, no. It's uncomfortable in the summer. How about that? As far as how hot it gets. It could be over 100 degrees in the summer and humid. So in that regard, I don't like that super hot weather, and summers could be troublesome because of that. But Florida is beautiful. Florida has some incredible beaches. Florida has really beautiful scenery. Florida has many lakes and many beautiful parks. Florida has gators everywhere. There's literally gators. You have to be super careful, especially if you have kids and dogs, pets. You know, if you come to Florida and you're hanging out by the lakes or any significant body of water. I've seen a gator at the lake yesterday, driving by my work. And it's like, you know, you see a gator just swimming near the warehouse. Where do you see, like, how is it possible? You know, like, it's one thing if we were somewhere in I don't know, in like in a rural area, right, where there is a lake. Okay, I can understand that. But like, they are right there, right next to our neighborhoods, and it actually gets even worse in South Florida. South Florida have also pythons, not only gators. So somehow I end up talking about gators from this question. But so anyway, when you come to Florida, you got to be careful. But you know, I went to University of Florida, so the mascot is Florida Gator. So I do have a connection with gators. I just don't necessarily like when they so close to you, when it's a little too close for comfort, you know. Thank you so much for your question, Letitia. Appreciate it. Let's see, Linda looks like, how does Russian stores in South Florida get so much quantity of fresh dill? Can't find it anywhere in Tennessee. That's a good question. You know what? It would be actually interesting to call them and ask them that question, because they might have a supplier somewhere in US that is different from suppliers in Tennessee, you know? So I think that if you figure out who supplies that to them, then you can trace it back to that supplier and see if you can get it from them, or if they can send it to your house. Because remember, many companies and businesses now doing this, like, they accept orders for their food. Like a lot of, what do they call them? Fresh markets, not fresh market, farmers market. If you find farmers market online, they will actually, some of them will deliver food, produce in boxes to your door. So I think if you can figure out where they get it from, then contact that company, and maybe that company, maybe you can make an agreement with that company, or at least get a sample of that. So very cool question. Let's see what else we have. So many comments. That's amazing. Thank you so much for being here and engaging with me. I really appreciate you. It's so amazing to connect with everyone. It's such a blessing to just, you know, read your comments and being able to talk with you live. It's really amazing feeling. So thank you so much for being here. Let's see other questions. Looks like Sister Alicia. Many people say Russians are racist. Are you open to dating Black or Hispanic women? I am open to dating different races. I do not have a problem with that. It's, you know, it's an unfortunate thing. I wanted to address the comment too. And it's not to protect Russians. I think partially that that perceptions could be, I don't want to say it's correct, because like it kind of hurts to say it, but if some people misjudge or mistreat other people, obviously, you know, that's not something that we can hide. One thing that my brain goes automatically to is that there is not much exposure in Russia. It's like, you know, you have a limited opportunities to connect directly with people of different backgrounds. You know, you have a limited number of Black people, of Hispanic people, of Asian people, and because of that, I think culturally you are kind of more aimed, or more used to probably a better word, at communicating with people who look exactly like you. And you know, I hope one day it will change. I hope that one day it will become more open country, to where, you know, more people are visiting and more people are more accepted. But I think like we can do what we can do. I think we should make our own decisions individually how we're going to treat people. We have all the tools at our disposal to learn about other individuals, and you know, take that knowledge and make the best out of it. Because one thing also, that earlier point that I've mentioned, it's hard to hear those things, you know, like if someone from your country is doing those type of things or behave that type of way. But at the same time, like, I certainly don't want to like associate with something like that. So, and I think by definition, like if somebody, if you a Hispanic person and you met a Russian person who was treating you unfairly, you know, and that's the only one experience you had, you're probably not going to like Russian people that much. And I think it's on us as Russian people, and any people for that matter, to realize that we need to be responsible how we treat other people, and we need to be responsible for our actions, because I am not responsible for somebody else's action, how they treat another person. And I think it comes down to personal responsibility. I know I went on a tangent again, but I think there are beautiful things come from dating outside of, you know, your race or outside of your background, and being able to learn and being able to connect and embrace each other. I think there are things you're going to find out that might surprise you and may impact you in a very, very like very great way. I'm bragging now. I'm just ranting, whatever. Not ranting. What is it? Venting. Thank you so much for your question, Sister Alicia. I appreciate it. Let's see what we got. Look like another question. Sympatичная means cute. Yes, word sympatичная in Russian means cute. Remember there are genders. So sympatичная is feminine gender, and sympatичный, it's a male gender. So when you speak Russian, one of the difficult part is to be able to remember which gender you are talking about. So if you're talking about jacket, let's say, you will say sympatичная куртка, because kurtka is a feminine. It's a she. But if you're talking about tree, it will be sympatичное, which is sympatичное дерево, which is neutral, because дерево is it. And so it's actually three genders. It's male, female, and then neutral. It gender is the third one. So this what really makes it difficult to learn Russian. And I think in Spanish it's a similar type of deal. Another question I got asked, have you ever been to Texas? I have been in Texas, but not for long. I've been there for, I think, I've been there for a conference, yeah, near Dallas a while back. So I've experienced Texas somewhat, but my knowledge somewhat limited on Texas. But it seems like a nice place. A lot of people actually move into Texas from California, from what I heard, because it's a lot cheaper to live there and a lot better tax structure. If you know one thing about America, there are a lot of taxes, like federal taxes, and many states have state taxes as well. So it's expensive to live in America. So there's a couple of states like Florida and Texas that have more friendly tax structure, and I think that's part of a reason. And of course, way cheaper cost of living than New York or California, and because of that, many people choose to move there. Very good questions. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Let's see what else we have here. I hope I didn't miss any questions. Praina, I know many people in Russia are afraid of Sputnik. What's your opinion about COVID-19 vaccines? Have you taken it? It's Moderna in USA, right? Yes, it's Moderna and Pfizer in USA, and I believe they are working on Johnson & Johnson
I don't think it came out yet. Maybe it did. I heard something on the radio the other day. So it's 2 right now. It's probably going to be more than 2 soon. I think that Russian Sputnik is a mysterious thing. It was created so quickly. It was the first thing on the market. I think that Brazil actually, refused the shipments of Sputnik because if I remember correctly, Brazil asked Russia for documentations, regulations pertaining to the vaccine, and I think Russia didn't provide it. Don't quote me on that. You can research it, but I believe that's what transpired. They could not provide, or Russia refused to provide documentation to Brazil, and Brazil said, thanks, but no thanks, we're not going to buy your vaccines. What's my opinion on COVID-19 vaccines? From the data that I've heard about so far, they seem to be effective, and that's very encouraging sign. I think it's also a little early to tell for sure, because most people just have taken them within the last 2 or 3 months. And so I think that once we get to 6 month to a year period, I think we'll be able to tell a little bit more if they are doing its job and if this vaccine's really working. So fingers crossed. I hope that nobody will develop side effects and nobody is going to have any health issues as a result. Thank you for your questions. Thank you, Brian. I have not taken it. I forgot to answer this one. I am a little bit on the fence to take it, and the reason being is I still think that there is unknown effects that vaccine can produce that could be very harmful in nature. And if that's the case, it's like, it makes me think that I would be putting my own health in risk. It's like a self-inflicted damage, so to speak. So am I going to, I think I'm going to take chance either way. That's what I think. I think whether I'm going to, get vaccinated or not get vaccinated, I'm going to take chance either way, either with virus getting me or vaccine, something like my body reacting wrong on the vaccine. I think at this time I am choosing not to, and at this time I'm choosing virus to be the thing that I will be battling, not vaccine, if that makes sense. Thank you so much for your question. Let's see what else we have. A lot of great comments. Thank you so much. Let's see. Felicia is here. Thank you so much for being here and for your question. Do you still get asked weird questions that people like to ask about Russians? For example, are you a spy? I think every family member asked my ex that question. Yeah, that's actually kind of funny because people do ask these questions. I think that people naturally try to build bridges. They're trying to connect with you, and they don't necessarily know how to connect with you when they meet you, meaning that they know you're Russian. Let's assume that just somebody from US meets you for the first time. Their knowledge of Russia is limited. They meet you for the first time. They want to be able to connect with you, but they don't know what to ask. And I think like maybe instinctively they kind of like throw the first thing that they can think of about Russia, like, hey, what about vodka? Do you guys drink a lot of vodka? Or sometimes it's like, people open up with a joke. It's funny to me because like people get so familiar so quickly. Sometimes it's annoying, It's like borderline, it could be borderline disrespectful sometimes because people can, meet you and then say like, oh yeah, you guys drinking all that vodka over there. That's why you bunch of drunks, huh? Something along those lines, you know. And you know, I think that it's okay not know, not like it's okay if person does not know things about Russia. I think what better approach is to be able to ask questions. I would be much more impressed if somebody asked me questions about Russia rather than just give me a bunch of random assumptions. But to answer your question, Felicia, yes, people still do that, not as much as before. I think my accent maybe not as strong as before. I think that people maybe I'm not super approachable in public. Maybe I have this like demeanor that people don't want to ask me those questions. I don't know, but I know that they have been asking it like in the past. It's been a thing. A lot of people, especially in the first 5 years in the country, people were asking these questions a lot. But now is like, I think it's encouraging too, because some people do ask like, hey, so what is it like? So it's encouraging to see that. But the thing about spy, I heard that reference before. I actually heard people say that exact same word. And it's also funny to me if you know someone, but it's not so funny if you don't know the person like says that as the first thing, you know? So I know I kind of went on a tangent on this one a little bit, but thank you for asking, Felicia. I appreciate it. Let's see. Lindsey, I have a question. Do you still wear a mask in public? Yes, I do. Well, in public, meaning when I go to places, when I go to the store, I do wear it because still majority of places require that. So I think it's a good thing to do, given the statistics and how many people actually have virus. And it's, we got to make sure that we stay safe. And we got to make sure that we don't, if any of us has that, we got to make sure that we don't pass it to other individuals. So I think it's a good thing. Sometimes I forget. Sometimes, like on occasion, I will go to the store and forget to grab my mask, and I have to remind myself of the new reality that we currently live in. So yeah, it's not something that I guess I'm still 100% used to. Had there any major differences between Russian and American women? Whew. Man, you guys got asking amazing questions. Major differences between Russian and American women. I think that one thing that I can point to is that it's that cultural thing in Russia to where women really trying to present themselves to the best of their abilities. Like when you go to out in public in Russia, like if you would take a walk in Moscow, for example, right? Or even in my city, Volgograd, you would see that women really take time to like present themselves to, like, I'm not talking about just a date. I'm talking about when she goes out in public, not meet with a man, just goes out in public, whether it's a job, whether it's like shopping. She takes time to look the best that she can, it seems to me. And I feel like in US, it's a little bit different. I think in US, people are a lot more laid back in that regard. So like in a grocery store, I saw people walking in flippers here. Slippers, sorry, flippers. I saw people walking in slippers. Sometimes people, in extreme cases, people even wear the shower cap. Some women wear sweatpants, and I think it's just like, I think the comfort level is the difference. And it's not to say one is wrong, one is right. I think it's the comfort level. I think that in US, people just so laid back, and they are just so laid back about many things. And you can really feel that difference. Thank you so much for the question, Heather. I appreciate it. Let's see what else we have. Another one from Linda. Have you ever seen the show Americans? This makes us think Russians are spies. You know what? I heard about the show, but I actually never watched that. I am trying my best not to get in any shows, because the last time I watched a show, I lost 2 weeks straight of my life. Like, it went just like that. And I think it was Breaking Bad, the show. And I'm kidding you not, I was just glued to TV for the 2 weeks. Like, I would go to work, I would come back, I would watch it. I would wake up, I would go to work, I would come back, I would watch it. Sometimes I would even forget to eat. I would just watch it. So I choose intentionally not to watch these shows, at least for now. Thank you for your question. Let's see what else we have. If I miss any questions, I apologize. That I feel like maybe I have. There's been so many. I really appreciate that. And I can't even scroll anymore all the way up. Wow, it only let me scroll until 12:54 p.m. I cannot see any comments beyond that. So now I know. This is the first stream. Now I know that I have to be a little bit more careful next time when I do this. That way I don't miss any comments, because if I miss any comments, I apologize. And as far as the sound, many of you stuck around, so thank you so much for that. But as far as the sound, please let me know in your comments, or my email as well. You can also send me an email, russianprototype@gmail.com, so you can provide any feedback in private if you would like. I would love to hear it, actually. This is the first live stream that I've done on YouTube, and your feedback would be invaluable, which means super valuable. Let's make sure we get the right words here. About anything, about the experience, about the sound, about quality of the picture, about what more you would like to see. By the way, let me announce right now that I'm going to do that. I'm going to have another live stream next week at the same time, 12 p.m. If you have topic suggestions, feel free to send that to me. I kind of want to do a same format. Let me know what you think about the format, being able to address a topic in the beginning, talk about it in depth somewhat, and then maybe have some time for Q&A regarding the topic, or just regarding anything, really, like just we did today, free-flowing session where we can talk about anything that you are interested in. So in addition to the comments that you provided, thank you so much. Feel free to send out an email, russianprototype@gmail.com. I want to make sure that I announce that next Saturday we will go live again. This was so much fun. I definitely want to do this again. I don't want it to be one and done type of thing. So next Saturday, 12 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, we're going to do it again. I'm going to look forward to your feedback. I can't thank you enough. This was so much fun for me. Thank you so much for every single one of you that, been doing this live with me, that asking questions. Let me do few quick shout outs again. Who we have in the house? We have Francis in the house. We have Linda in the house. We have Agatha in the house. We have Kaylee in the house. We have Brian in the house. We have Princess in the house. Let's see. Lindsey in the house. I know Andrea was in the house earlier. Maybe still is. Letitia's in the house. Appreciate you so much. Francis, I think maybe already said that. Selma in the house. Thank you all so much. If I let me get one more. What you don't like in Russia? I'm gonna answer that, and we're gonna wrap up. Okay. what I don't like about Russia. I don't believe I answered that. If I did, comment and tell me that. Maybe I'm going crazy. What I don't like in Russia. Well, first of all, I don't like that the opposite of what I love in US. I don't like that there is a lack of freedom. When I say freedom, I don't mean that we are not free in Russia. I just mean that the way that system is set up is not entirely free. Like if somebody with power on top wants you to disappear or to jail you, they can do that, you know, and we're seeing that right now. And a lot of people already been affected by it, which is super unfortunate. It's kind of scary, to be honest with you. And that's definitely one thing. That's instability. You know, there are a lot of people that also live very tough lives. So I think that the infrastructure, I think like it's all kind of connected in a way, you know, the level of corruption and people's level of life sound wrong. Like the way that the quality, that's the word I'm looking for, the quality of life that people have in Russia is affected, I think, by the corruption, by the lack of laws, by the, you know, sometimes just inability to, it's not inability. See, sometimes it's hard to even explain. Like when you ask me about the language, sometimes it's still difficult to find words. But it's all the things that that somebody on top decides for us. You know, I think that's like really big difference between Russia and US. Having less agency, I guess, is the word, and the fact that if somebody wants to put you away, they can do that. That's the biggest thing that I don't like about Russia. I don't want to bash my own country too much, though, you know. I don't want to sit here and go through a laundry list. I can think of a few other things, but I think that's really the main one, is that security of life, you know. Thank you all so much for your questions. I enjoyed this so very much. We went for almost 2 hours. Wow, I did not expect that. So thank you. Couple other shout outs. Fabiola in the house. Thank you for being here and engaging. I think I mentioned Agatha. Thank you so much. Caleb, Francis, Linda, Heather, Brina, Violet, Lindsey, Ashina, Wolf Blue. Thank you all so much. I can't thank you enough. It's been so much fun. Next week, Saturday, 12 p.m. It's going to be Saturday, April 20. I wrote it down. What date is it going to be? Can I even look it up? Let me pull up my calendar. 24th. Saturday, April 24th. We're going to go live as well. 12 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. I can't wait to connect with you again. I am going to release the next video soon. My next video is going to talk about the difference of dating Russian men in Russia versus dating Russian men in another country. I know I kind of danced around the subject a little bit in my previous videos. I touched on it directly, maybe indirectly rather, a little bit, but in this video I am focusing on that topic specifically. So tune in to the YouTube channel a couple of days and check out this new video. In the meantime, again, thank you all so much. It's been so much fun. I loved it. I'm looking forward to connecting with you soon again. Have a wonderful day. I will hopefully see you next weekend. Have a great weekend and take care of yourself. Be well.